She had asked, so if you're a trans woman, who's gonna love you? Who is gonna love you? Who's gonna love, I remember her exact words, who's gonna love a fake woman? That was literally her words. I'm gonna be completely honest at the moment. I shouldn't be laughing at this because it's such a serious issue. When did you realize you were transgender or didn't identify with your assigned gender?
When did I realize? Oh my gosh, my process of realization is actually so weird because like for a long time I thought I was gay.
I realized that I'm a woman. Actually, that I feel like a woman at the age of 3. My uncle said to my mom, this child of yours, he's not gonna be like, he's not like a normal boy. There's just something about this child that's indicating something to him.
I learned that I was actually not gay and transgender later on by having the right people. It's actually more to do with like the fact that I had people who allowed me to, friends particularly, who allowed me to express myself in a way that I had not even been aware I could do it.
When I found out that there's a term called transgender, there's a term that I can actually assign myself to. I was like around 12, but I've never run away from the assigned birth. I've never run away. I knew that was it, but I've always felt like a woman. So for me, that story in itself is kind of, it tells me the fact that my identity has something that has always been a constant. It's something that has always been around me. It's a part of who I am. It's just that as I grew and became older, I learned the language, I had access to the internet, I learned how to describe who I was, or these feelings that I had.
It was like an evolutionary process for me. Some people know it from such a young age. Just like, you know how some people know that I'm gonna work on TV, period. And then other people have to go through multiple channels to actually finally discover like, this is what I want to do. So that's how it happened for me.
What was your coming out experience like, lol? Who bought me a closet? Anyway, how did your friends and family react? I'm gonna be honest, the first reaction wasn't positive.
I didn't actually come out when I came out as transgender because I was like done with my studies and I just started working in advertising, and then I just started expressing myself how I felt best.
Any reaction from my family was always support, but obviously there are questions. There is fear. They were asking me so many questions about why would you want to do that to your body? Why would you want to surgically alter your body? You're already so attractive, you're so handsome or whatever. Why would you want to change that?
And then my mom saw pictures of me and was like, oh, so para to and it was very like, girl, stop.
I remember they also had vocalized something that stuck with me for a long time. It was my sister from my mother's side of the family. She had asked, so if you're a trans woman, who's gonna love you? Who is gonna love you? Who's gonna love, I remember her exact words, who's gonna love a fake woman? That was literally her words. I think with my parents, they just said like, okay, you can do the transition completely. You can definitely do that, but we're not gonna be completely involved to whether you wanna change your surgery or anything. But we're gonna support you all the way. Throughout time, my family has gotten way better. Like we've done a complete, is it a 180 or 360?
Have you experienced any microaggressions or even outright violence as a trans woman?
I mean, listen, microaggressions are everywhere, darling. I shouldn't be laughing at this because it's such a serious issue.
Usually it's with words, but like violence is violence.
I've experienced a lot of microaggressions in different places, especially where I become visible in the sense that the fact that I'm trans is known. Well, let's say I'm going to the pharmacy. The people who work at the pharmacy will literally intentionally use my other name, because I'm lucky that my parents gave me a gender neutral name. My first name is Wenzy, so they intentionally choose to use that English name, my male English name, and it's always like this weird thing because now the other patients are staring because they're like, who's this person that they're calling? And I stand up, I go there. So it's constantly trying to fight with the staff. I've always, even the people at the hospital now, they know me because I'm always fighting with the staff for being disrespectful, for being so unprofessional. There's certain things you just don't do. You don't bring your personal stuff to work. You may not like trans people, but don't bring that to the workplace and try to embarrass me.
And like violence, outright violence, oh my god. I actually just wrote about that, and there was an exhibition around that, and it was actually a cis woman in the bathrooms at Great Danes, just using the bathrooms normal, and she literally goes out of her way. Literally what I was telling you, it's like, what are you doing here? This is using up the bathrooms, and I'm like, why, what? How are you? You're definitely not confused. You're just a rude person. And then it got out of hand because I think like generally I tend to bottle things up, and on that particular day I was under the influence. I've been drinking for a while and I think I just lost it and it got physical. I'm not gonna get into that, but like people have been very violent.
Like today, I was in the taxi fight. I listened. It was a trigger chat. I was like, ooh, bout. I've had like some other guy beat me up, child, from bout. Did you know about that story? I haven't told you about that story. Basically, what happened was the same way you got an Uber for me, but my friend did not make a card. She made a cash and she didn't notice. So when I got home, I literally was there at the gate. I'm like, okay, no. He's like, no, it's cash. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go inside and go and speak to my mama and stuff like that. He's like, no, I want it now. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm trying to do that. So now he's like, I'll show you what a man is. I'm like, fuck you. As I turn around, he comes running behind me and he literally trips me on the floor. He kicks me and I literally like had like a scab. So I have a mark here and stuff like that. And then, he tried to hit me with something. He went back to his car to fetch like something to hit me with. But the security guards were just watching, child. But obviously because like, they think I'm a man, I can handle my own, child. I don't fight. No one should be fighting. You should not even lay a hand on anyone. Listen, he was fighting for 100 rand. And I'm like, my life is worth 100 rand. Like, excuse you. And like, he was just coming in. He's like, yeah, you know that you're a man, and I'm just like, who told you that? Who said that? Who said that? I know what you're talking about. What are the difficulties around dating?
Oh my god, the difficulties around dating are immense.
It's not because men can't handle trans women, and it's not because men don't want to go for trans women, or it's not because men don't go for trans women. In my experience, 90% of the time when I'm on dating apps, most of the men on there, 90% are just looking for a sexual experience.
Generally, people just reduce trans women to sex objects, but I don't blame them. That's just the world that they were brought up in, where the only time they saw trans women was in porn and stuff like that. So it's like, but that's not my burden to carry. Like, I don't have to even talk to you.
It's either it becomes a fantasy for you, or it becomes an experiment for you, or it becomes a complete black. For me, because I know that a lot of men don't read bios on dating apps like Tinder or whatever. So instead of writing my own name on my Tinder, I just write transgender, just to make it easier. And it's also for me in a way to create my safety, in terms of I don't want to interact with people who don't want to interact with me. People who might have very strong negative opinions around trans people.
And they'll tell me, they even go telling me like they have a girlfriend and I should be the side piece. I'm like, I take it to a point where I'm like, well, if you want me to be in your life like that, then you need to pay for my time, because like I'm into myself and I can understand why you're into me, but like you're not gonna disrespect me and think I'm not desperate to date you.
I wouldn't lie, I do get texted by men, but do you know the admin of having to explain the admin of that and how it removes me from myself when I have to do that? Like, oh. I'm currently in a relationship with this wonderful Xhosa man. I know what people say about Xhosa men, but he made things easy for me. Like, he did his own research around dating trans women, which allowed me not to constantly be the teacher, because I'm constantly being the teacher, which can get exhausting at times. So he didn't make me work. He took time to process everything. He took time to research and understand what might happen, what are the things we might have to face in the future. So for me, that was such a relief when I met this person. I would love to date one day. I wouldn't lie. I would love to have a big rock. Like, I wouldn't lie. Like, I would love to walk down the aisle. Like, that would be pure and amazing.
If it comes, beautiful, amazing. But if it doesn't, there's so many people that have lived incredible, powerful lives who weren't partnered up, but they managed to change the world. And one thing about me is I want to change the world.
How can we be better allies in real life?
Support.
An ally does their own research. An ally thinks about what they say. Learn when to be vocal and when to be quiet.
We're having the conversations, but we're not lending enough support to each other.
You are in a position of more privilege from being in a certain body. You should be able to provide a safe space for those people who are marginalized, for the LGBT community, for queer people. Be that safe space that protects them. Education is right there, and if you are experiencing it in your face, have your own education. Stop asking trans women what is the difference between a drag queen and a trans woman. Stop. Stop. Because imagine an ally asking you that. Sometimes our allies tend to talk over us or talk for us as if we don't know our struggles. At certain points as an ally, know when to be a voice and know when to keep quiet. And I don't even need to be going through the most or me getting a transphobic attack for you to actually say something. If someone, when I'm not even there, says something that you don't align with, speak up, don't laugh. Because you're enabling that behavior. You are not doing anything, so don't call yourself an ally.
For pillars to stand, there's always like the invisible thread. There's always like that piece of metal that holds it together. So I think like cis people need to be that piece of metal in the pillar. That's where we need to get to. But we're getting there slowly. Do I love my body?
Just with medically transitioning and becoming more comfortable in my body, I could say 80% of my body I'm very comfortable and happy with. Not every trans woman wants a surgery. No. Transness can also be gender fluidity.